everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily and today we have, what do I call this? A deep full body stretch. So this is definitely a very good stretching routine for everybody, for targeting the full body. But the intention here was to create something for a very sore and tired body. So this would be a very good athletic stretch if you've been very active lately, doing a lot of hiking or moving around. And we need to stretch deeply, not just into the muscles, but getting into the joints as well. Have 2 blocks nearby. You won't need them, but they could just be useful in a practice like this. So we're going to start immediately in a toe squat. So coming into all fours position, just so we can tuck the toes underneath. And walk the hands back to sit the hips on top of the heels. And so just start keeping with your hands down on the mat, because this can be a very intense stretch for some people. And as we open up through the feet, we can start to come up into a kneeling position. Toe squat here, breathing in. You had your arms up, you can reach your hands up overhead, clasping the fingertips and flipping the palms up. Invite an opening into the upper body, looking up. Exhale, hands back down. Clasp the hands behind the hips now and roll the shoulders back, opening up through the chest, the heart space. Exhale, hands come forward, untuck the toes. Untuck the toes just for a second. We're tucking them back and under, and this time planting the feet down, coming all the way up and over to your forward fold, clasping opposite elbows. You can take the feet out a bit wider, generous bend into the knees. Just allow your upper body to drape over your thighs here. You can invite a little rocking side to side. When you're ready, I'm just going to turn on my mat so it's easier for you to see me. You can stay where you are. Make sure your feet are out wide, heels and toes out. We'll drop the hips down into our malasana. So shoulder blades go down the spine, not collapsing into the chest here. So really make the effort to kind of pop up through the chest. Push the elbows against the knees. Open up through the hips. Really good for the lower back here. Take the fingertips to the floor. You can scoot one leg out to the side, coming into a bit of an easier skandasana. You can come down flat onto your feet. You can stay up high on the toes. Hands can come back to the heart center in prayer. You can look up to the ceiling if it's comfortable for your neck. And from here, just drop your hips down to the mat, tuck the heel in. We're setting up for a half butterfly fold. So with the knee in, right leg still out, we'll start to crawl forward, targeting more into the inner thigh. Try to keep that foot flexed, pointed. Make sure your seated bones are really grounding beneath you, so we're not lifting up the hips here. If you need to, you can use your hands or your forearms to actively push against the ground, pull your hips back into place. You can start to walk the hands back up, and just before going on the second side, we'll plant the left palm behind us, sweep the right palm up and overhead as you send the hips forward. Baby wild thing, look behind you, little opening. And exhale, come back down to center. We'll take both feet in, just come up through the Malasa your malasana once more, and we'll even out into the second side. Straighten out through the left leg this time. Point that foot, coming into your skandasana. When you're ready, you can drop those hips back down, tuck the right heel in, setting up for half butterfly here. Start to initiate your fold forward, keeping that left foot pointed or flexed. Ready, you can walk your hands back up to center if you weren't already there. Right hand behind us, pick the hips up and we'll reach your left fingertips to the back of your space. Exhale, plant the hips back down. We'll turn forward onto our mat with our legs out long. We'll start out by planting the hands into the ground next to our hips. Engage your thighs so much so that your heels come up off the mat. Dandasana, roll your shoulder blades down. Nice long spine here. Breathing in, breathing out, we'll reach all the way up and we're coming into a seated forward fold. So grabbing onto your thighs, the backs of your thighs can go down to the shins, the ankles. Just fold your body weight all over your thighs. Targeting into the backs of the legs now. Feet pointed or flexed. And you can keep baby bend into the knees here. Make it more accessible. Everyone trying to keep your shoulders down away from the ears. No clenching in the jaw or in between the eyebrows. Just breathe and lean into it. As you stay here longer, you can notice gravity pulling you deeper into the posture with every exhale. And your body opening up just a little bit more. When you're ready, we can start to slowly make our way back up. Just straighten out through the elbows and inch your way back up to seated. We'll come through, crossing at the feet, rolling over the shin bones onto our stomachs, taking a Sphinx pose, so the forearms on the mat, elbows beneath the shoulders, roll them down and back. Roll your shoulders down and back, collarbones long here. Nice wide base here, so really spread through your fingertips. We're going to push the elbows, the forearms back as we pull our heart forward. Not sinking into the chest here. Any point you want a little more, you can also straighten the elbows for a deeper back bend. Sigh out the mouth, big exhale as we come forward. We'll take the right arm out like a letter T. You can also keep the arm straight, or you can bend it to a 90-degree angle. From here, we're going to roll onto our right side. So you use your left hand to push and roll over onto the right hip. Right ear meets the mat. If you want a little more, you can lift this top leg and take it a step behind you, opening up through the front of that right shoulder now, that pectoral muscle. And sigh out the mouth. You roll over to the center, and we'll just go right in the second side. Left arm out this time. Use your right hand to push yourself onto the left side, stacking either the ankle bones on top of each other or stepping the top leg just behind the bottom. The stretch is also really great if you carry a backpack. Really good to open up part of the shoulders that can often be neglected. Your final exhale, we'll roll back to center. Even out the hips and plant the palms just ahead of the rib cage. Breathe in, lift up to a cobra. Breathe out, back down. Breathing in, this time upward facing dog, lifting all the way up. And exhale, roll over the toes, downward facing dog. So bend through the knees if you need to. Curl the tailbone up and push out of the shoulders. We'll take the right foot to the outside of the right hand. Heel is in, toes are out, drop, back knee down, come into your lizard lunge. You can also always make it a little harder by dropping the forearms down. Back knee is either down or you can lift it up for a little more of an active stretch. Coming back up, if you're down on the forearms, we'll drop this back knee down if it was lifted. Straighten through the front right leg. Send the hips back. Come to like a wider half splits. Breathing in, find a flat back. Breathing out, folding forward. Really getting to the hamstring here. We'll exhale, roll forward. We'll heel toe this right foot over to the left side, dropping the hips, shin bone down, pigeon pose. You can either stay lifted up here or melt the body, the chest over that right side, coming down into the forearms, or laying it all the way down. You're ready, we'll start to make our way back up, planting the hands down if you are laying, and then we'll tuck the back toes underneath, send it all the way up and back to your downward facing dog. Couple breaths here just to stabilize. We'll send the left foot this time to the outside of the left hand, drop that back knee down, left heel is in, toes are out, lizard lunge. You can take whatever variation you took on the first side, aim to take that one on the second side if it is open and available to you. Remember, your breath here is what's going to get you through any discomfort. Plant the palm back down if you were on your forearms. Plant the back knee and straighten through the left leg. Hamstring stretch here, half splits. Breathing in, find a flat back. Breathing out, bow forward towards the inside of that thigh. Rolling through and onto the second side. Heel toeing the left foot over the right side. Drop that shin bone down, drops the hips down, even it out on both sides so you're not favoring one hip over the other. Breathing in, find a nice tall spine, either staying up here or coming forward. Last breath here. Let's make our way all the way back up, finding our downward facing dog. Option here to take a little vinyasa if you'd like. Otherwise, staying in your downward dog. When you're ready, we'll lower the knees down. This is a good time to grab your blocks if you have them. If not, isn't necessary. We're coming into puppy pose. And for this particular stretch, I really recommend putting blocks at either the first or second level. So walk your knees about an inch or two behind the hips. Take the elbows onto each block. Have our hands in prayer position, and we'll melt our chest, forehead down, sending the hands back towards your tailbone. So with the help of the blocks here, really just lets us open up through the shoulders a little bit more. Again, it's not necessary. You can also take a traditional puppy pose here if you prefer. Straighten out through the elbows. Make your way up off of the box. Might be a little tricky if you're not used to getting out of that position, but you'll survive. We'll take the toes together, knees out wide. We'll sit the hips back to the heels and take the forehead, chest back down to the mat, child's pose. Ready, we'll make our way onto our backs, however you'll get there. Now for our next stretch, I am going to be using a strap. Again, not necessary, just makes things a little bit more accessible. You can also take a belt, maybe a shoelace, get creative. We'll come all the way onto our backs first, just hug the knees into the chest, rock a little side to side. We'll take the left leg out long. We'll straighten out through the right leg. If you're using a strap, we'll hook the strap onto the foot, straighten out through the right leg, and start to pull the right foot towards your face. So if you're not using the strap, we'll grab onto the back of the thigh or the back of the calf, maybe even the ankle or heel. Or if you're really flexible, you can grab onto the toe with the two-piece fingers. And just feel like you're drawing your toes to your nose here. A deeper hamstring stretch. And releasing into a bit into the low back as well. Kind of work to point or flex the foot here. If you want, you can also place your left hand on top of the left hip. Try to keep both of the hips grounded here. Again, not favoring one side over the other. And so with this pulling motion, we'll take this right foot now out to the right side. And think about pulling the strap towards your ear. And finally, if you're using a strap, we'll switch the grip and take your right foot over to the left side, making a spinal twist now with a hamstring stretch. And look over the right shoulder as well. And finally release that, and we will switch onto the second side. Switch your strap if you were using one. Even out through the hips, so we're not sitting crooked on our mat here. When you're ready, we'll start to pull that left foot towards the face. going on to the second side. I forgot to say it might be easier as well to keep this knee bent and this foot grounded up here. That may make it more accessible as well. And ready, we'll take this left foot and open it out to the left side. And finally, switch the grip of your strap and we'll take the left foot now over to the right side, looking over the left shoulder. Just a little bit of activity in your arms here. Going through that left knee, drop both legs down. We can remove the strap if we were using one, even out to the hips. Soles together and let the knees fall wide. Take a reclined butterfly here. Hands can either rest on the belly or they can rest up and overhead. If you prefer constructive rest where your feet are out wider than the mat, dropping the knees inward towards each other, you can choose that stretch instead. It's an internal rotation aside from an external rotation that we're here in a butterfly pose. When you're ready, we can straighten through the legs. Take a big full body stretch here. You can either finish this class laying on your back if that feels right to you, or we'll make our way up to a seat. Center of our space, keeping the eyes closed or taking a soft gaze. Take a few last breaths together before we close. We'll breathe in to reach the arms up and overhead as we look up. Hands gum together in prayer as we sigh out the mouth and bow forward. Lalmai me, season honors, Lalmai you. And I will say namaste. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep full body stretch. I sure hope you enjoyed, and I sure hope you feel stretched. If you do, make sure you leave me a thumbs up, comment down below, and subscribe for more. And until then, thank you so much.